I saw this tweet and I figured this was going to go places. I can't find the automatic tweet anymore. I think it got deleted. But this is WP Engine. They have been granted a motion to which that they can have their ACF plugin back. For those that don't know, WordPress not only shut down their access to having WordPress's npm repository, so that means WP Engine can't be grabbed from that. They also got shut down to the point where WordPress took over their plugin and made it so that when you went to the ACF, you actually got WordPress's version of it. They took over the name, and so it was completely confusing. A lot of people obviously were pretty dang upset about that. You even had to check a checkbox that said if you were to log into WordPress.org, you actually had to check a checkbox saying I am not affiliated with WP Engine. Really, really insane behavior, because that is just. That is completely ridiculous behavior. But nonetheless, they've been living like that for months at this point, and so this has just happened. It looks like things are kind of turning around in a different way. So let's look at this. WP Engine just won a preliminary injunction against WordPress.com parent company Automattic on Tuesday. A California district court judge ordered Automattic to stop blocking WP Engine's access to WordPress.org resources and interfering with its plugins. The preliminary injunction comes after WP Engine, a third-party WordPress hosting service, filed a lawsuit that accused Automattic and its CEO Matt Mullenweg of multiple forms of immediate irreparable harm. It later asked the court to stop Mullenweg from restricting WP's Engine's access to WordPress.org. Mullenweg waged. That is quite the Mullenweg waged. That's like a mouth warm up. Mullenweg waged a public campaign against WP Engine in September, accusing the service of misusing the WordPress trademark and not contributing enough to the WordPress community. After blocking WP Engine access to Engine from WordPress.org servers, Automattic took control of WP Engine's ACF plugin. For those that don't remember this, dude, that was pretty crazy that they did that. If you went to the website, it would actually be AFC as the website with the slug and everything, but it would be secure custom form. This whole thing, I cannot believe how far this has happened. Look at what we're looking at. It's how many months later, and this is still happening. It's still happening, and it's going all the way to the. I can't believe this is actually happening. This just feels like an unreal situation. And the real question is going to be, what is Mullenweg's retaliation after this? Because it appears that he has absolutely no concern just about going all in on this. He has no problem letting other people lose their jobs, lose stuff, to try to hurt WP Engine. And so I wonder what are the chances that Matt just shuts down WordPress.org, effectively shuts down NPM. That's pretty much the next step. Yeah, out of spite. Yeah, that's the thing, is out of spite, I think he could actually do that. Just shut it down and just effectively screw everybody. He's post-economic, right? Shutting down NPM. No, when I say NPM, I don't mean he shuts down NPM. WordPress.org is like NPM to the WordPress ecosystem. Sorry, if you didn't understand that, that's what I'm trying to say, is that it's like shutting down NPM. It's like today, if you just could not use NPM all of a sudden, so many people's ability to make node projects would just completely fall apart. If you were not on Dino's ISR or whatever they call it, JSR's repositories, it would just be it would be really, really bad, right? And so that's kind of like the last step. And it just, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't do that. Judge Araceli Martinez Alguin, is that how you say that name? Alguin, found merit in WP Engine's claims that Automattic's actions harmed business relationships, saying Mullenweg's conduct is designed to induce breach or disruption. As for Automattic's arguments that blamed WP Engine for relying on WordPress.org to power its business, Judge Martinez Alguin didn't find it very compelling. Yeah, he said that there was no merit. I believe that was the exact quote, was that there's no merit in his arguments. Even a judge looked at what Matt Mullenweg was saying and said, nah, there's nothing here. What you're saying is not good. Kind of wild. It is pretty wild. It's also good that it is going to trial, in a sense that we shouldn't rely on a single judge to make these decisions. And hopefully a good trial happens, and then you can have the full confidence that the judge made the right decisions. To me, this seems like the right decision. It's crazy that WP Engine or WordPress.org required the check mark. Good answer. Yeah, that's a good answer. Maybe this is the end of WordPress. I would not be surprised if this is the end of WordPress, but I don't think it would be nice. And why I don't think it'd be nice is that countless people rely on the income generated by WordPress. Countless people rely on that ecosystem. Countless people rely on WordPress.org to be able to deliver a bunch of content for them to be able to have their website. If it were to go down, it would cost a lot of people their livelihood. It would cost a lot of people, it would cause a huge amount of disruption. I'm not going to shit on WordPress. I think a lot of people unjustly shit on WordPress. Like, you forget when WordPress was created. WordPress was created in a time in which there was no Docker, there was no NPM, there was no nothing, right? Like, WordPress was created so long ago, and the ability to keep on going through all of this many years later, it's very impressive what has been accomplished. So of course that its designs and everything aren't that great, because you're always kind of bound by the design decisions you made at the beginning. That's why everybody always rewrites it in Rust eventually, because you can just let go of all of your previous decisions and then you get a new product and it's in Rust and everyone cheers you on, right? That's the classic rewrite it in Rust mentality. You make a decision, 20 years later, you make a new decision, rewrite it in Rust. But Molenweg is just absolutely unhinged behavior. All right. While defendants characterized WP Engine's harm as self-imposed because it built its business around a website that it had no contractual right to use, defendants' role in helping that harm materialize through their recent targeted actions toward WP Engine and no other competitor cannot be ignored. This is like perfectly stated. This is absolutely perfectly stated because it is correct. Like, the judge correctly identified this, and I believe he even said in his stuff, I saw some tweets going around that the judge said that he has no idea how tech works and all that. And so he kind of laid that out. This is perfect, that WP Engine did build its business around a website. This is true. So there's always inherent risk in doing that. But Molenweg went after him specifically and nobody else. That's different, right? Like, once you do that, you've crossed into the realm in which just looks vindictive and bad. It looks like you're actually trying to cause material harm, which he even stated publicly that he's going to cause material harm, and even stated publicly that he's going to go nuclear option on them. So it's kind of like you've just sat there and had a gun to your foot, and you just keep shooting yourself in the foot over and over and over again. The ruling found that the WP Engine showed it will suffer irreparable harm without injunctive relief, while also impacting members of the WordPress community. Under the preliminary injunction, Automattic will have to take down the list of companies it displayed on its site it created to track outgoing WP Engine customers, as well as remove the checkbox that asks WordPress users to verify they're not affiliated with the WP Engine when logging in. That's still so crazy. Okay, hold on. Okay, why am I pressing Control-Click, and why is it updating the current website I'm on, plus opening up a new one? That's not okay. What is this one? WordPress.com owners launched a tracker for sites leaving WP Engine. It's like they wanted to be sued. It's like they're just begging to get sued out of their mind. Because, a lot of these people right here, a lot of these people left because they're probably just a bunch of mom and pop shops that they don't know what they're doing. And the one singular tech person's like, hey, we have to move off. I can't even update. Like, I can't do anything. We have to move off of WP Engine. Like, a lot of people's hands were just simply forced by WordPress.org. That's crazy. It doesn't matter if it's a marketing stunt. This is actually insane behavior that the WP Engine tracker says that more than 16,000 sites stopped using it. If there has ever been anything that has shown somebody to be so liable, like, by the law, to be held for, like, claims of intentional harm, this has to be it. Not only are you trying to put WP Engine in the grave, you then made a public post of you dancing on the grave, right? Like, dude, out of all things to do, like, this picture, that, you know the meme with the guy by the grave? Like, this is the picture on the grave. Like, the guy is actually just sitting there. Oh my goodness. This is so unhinged. $50 a month or more for each of those sites. Yeah, it's a lot of, it is literally, this is insane amount of money. Because if you just did a quick thing, so 16,262 times 50, approximately $50 a month to host it, times 12. So that is going to be what, $10 million. It's 28,000 at the moment, 28,000 sites at the moment. You're talking practically $17 million a year. Whoo! Okay, let's just say I got $50 wrong. It's $50 a year. Let's just pretend it's only $50 a year. That is still $1.4 million. Is it $50 a year or $50 a month? Either way, that's that's just so much money. And they're celebrating it. Holy cow. Holy cow. That, oh yeah, it totally does work. Total WP sites, oh my gosh. Look at them go down. They're like celebrating. Oh, oh my. This is such bad behavior. This is such bad behavior. I have never seen anything like this. The thing is that my kids don't act this childish. At least my kids know that when they do something wrong, they don't go around telling everybody about it. If my kids had the technical prowess, they would not make a website claiming what they've done incorrectly. Bro's about to be economic again. Bro's about to be pre-economic. This is worse than kid behavior. This is just baby child kid behavior. That's all it is. This is exactly what I would expect from just a tiny children doing what children do best, which is they act like idiots. I mean, that's the whole point. All right, oh, here, nice. So this was the logon box that they required. You had to check mark, I am not affiliated with WP Engine in any way to be able to log on to WordPress.org. So do you wonder why all these websites started to migrate away from WP Engine? Do you see the obviousness to this all? Wow. I did not realize it got this bad because I made a tweet like 2 months ago that I just stopped covering this stuff unless there's like a material change in the case. And I've just simply stayed away from this. I just didn't even look at anything. And I come back to this. You know the meme of the guy coming back with like pizza and the house is on fire? I'm coming back to the house is literally on fire, but hopefully it gets put out. Holy cow. WP Engine responded to the ruling in a post on X saying, "We are grateful that the court has granted our motion for a preliminary injunction that restores access to and functionality of WordPress.org for WP Engine, its customers, and its users." Meanwhile, Automatic spokesperson Megan Fox tells The Verge that the company looks forward to prevailing at trial. Megan Fox. Oh, man. Megan Fox, if I were you, I would run as fast as I can from that because you know for a fact that you are going to be the fall girl. You know it. You know it. You are going to be hung out to dry and brutalized in the public eye. Like, that's what's going to happen. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah, Megan Fox, not the one that got dipped in the Pretty River by her thumbs. I assume this is a different Megan Fox. She was great in Transformers. She's the same, the absolute same. She's just decided to give up acting and go into WordPress public relationship management. Today's ruling is preliminary order designed to maintain the stat. Oh, yeah, so this was the tweet that they made. This was a crazy tweet that they made. Hey, Eva. Today's ruling is a preliminary order designed to maintain the status quo. What does that mean, to maintain the status quo? What is the status quo? Is the status quo not acting insane? Is that actually the status quo? This is the Automatic tweet that I was looking for. This is what they responded to when losing, is that you're not allowed to materially and intentionally harm another company with every possible resource that you have, and that's maintaining the status quo. That's a good status quo. Yes, monopolies. It turns out monopolies aren't good. It's crazy that WordPress.org, who owns a hosting company, took down their chief rival in hosting and then promoted their own hosting company, including even tweeting the day that they revoked access, saying, hey, WordPress Engine customers, we also have hosting, just in case you're wondering. It was made without the benefit of discovery. Our motion to dismiss or counterclaims we will be filing against WP Engine shortly. We look forward to prevailing at trial as we continue to protect the open source ecosystem during full fact discovery and full review of the merits. All right, well, there you go. Seems fair and reasonable. You said WordPress Engine. Matt wins. Yep, Matt wins. I know, I said WordPress Engine, and I just thought it was funny. Internally, I was like, someone's going to be upset about that. All right. But seriously, though, Megan Fox. Oh, man, Megan Fox, I'd be so careful. I just feel like she is going to definitely get all the blame in this situation. I feel genuinely bad, dude, being Automatic spokesperson right now. I think you should only let Matt be the spokesperson, okay? He's proved himself to be a very hinged and normal person. Definitely hasn't, thrown like a little anger situation and definitely didn't just like rage quit Slack after the court injunction. Definitely hasn't acted like a kid. And so I think he should be the spokesperson. Please explain why you think it's okay to force WordPress to serve another company of free stuff. I'm not saying WordPress aren't idiots. It's saying it's messed up to force them to give out free stuff. Just curious. Please explain the rationale. So it's not just free stuff. So here's the deal, throw fence. Automattic WordPress serves lots and lots of people, right? WP Engine is their chief rival in hosting. They have other rivals, but they've specifically targeted them and in all ways have tried to destroy the company. It's a little different. The thing is that it's very hard to have a service that you let somebody build upon. You let them build upon it for, say, 15 straight years, and then after 15 years completely try to dominate. I think there's a big difference. Now, if they would have brought this up earlier saying, hey, we can't do that. Hey, we're not going to support you. Hey, we are doing our own hosting company. You're going to have to figure out how to host your own stuff. I don't think that would have been a problem, right? I don't think that's a problem at all. But to just change gears after 15 years, I think there's a big difference there. And also, it's not like WP Engine doesn't give stuff back. Free stuff is kind of ridiculous. WP Engine, obviously, through hosting, building something, people go into the WordPress ecosystem. They go and they buy stuff. They go and they use other products. Like, there's a huge amount of money. Also, plus Matt used to be an owner in WP Engine and sold. That's a very important fact as well. Matt used to be an owner in WP Engine. He sold his stake and now is trying to destroy the company. And let's just say that he just turned off access only to WordPress.org. I actually think that he could have made a case saying he's no longer allowing WP Engine to have access to WordPress.org. And I think if he would have just left it there, I think he probably could have gotten away with this. Even if they sent Scooby-Doo and the gang after him, I think he could have gotten away with that because I think you can win that way. I think it's a little bit different when you create a checkbox saying you're not even allowed to be affiliated with them. I think it's different when you track how many sites are being taken down by them. I think it's different when you go and do all the things that he's done. I think it's different when you take their plugin and you just take it from them. Right? Like now you're starting to change gears. It went from, hey, you're not allowed to use our service to not only are you not allowed to use our service, our hosting company is going to make tweets talking about your defeat and why you should move to their hosting company, the one that Matt owns. Like that's very anti-competitive behavior. You are destroying this business while tweeting about this other business that you now own, then stealing actual plugins and taking over stuff like that. At some point, one has to go, okay, this is no longer just about them not wanting WP Engine to be served off of WordPress.org. I actually think they could have done it. I think that he could have just simply said, hey, from here on out, you can't use WordPress.org. And I think WP Engine would have had absolutely no recourse because I think that's a very viable approach, right? I think that would have been fine because I think you're right. I don't think that we should force a company to serve another company for free, quote unquote, for free. You're right. It's the constellation of stuff. There was a path where they dropped WP Engine, but this ain't it. Yeah, there was a path where they dropped WP Engine, but that ain't it. Yeah. That'd be like NPM attacking Vercel. Yeah, it'd be super strange. It's very strange how to tell. What do you do? So here's the follow-up question. This is something I don't have a strong opinion on, and I'd love to hear your opinions here. If NPM stopped serving Vercel, or any of these public repositories stop doing something, like, do you think there's any recourse? I always have this harder time. NPM is easy to replace. I don't think NPM is easier to replace. I think if you say NPM is easier to replace, I think you just don't understand how much actually goes through NPM. Because to me, the only real recourse is that WordPress.org has to be replaced by something, right? Because you can't trust it anymore, right? The reason why these public kind of distributions of content exist is because that the public relies on them to be ambivalent. They don't favor somebody and they don't disfavor somebody. They just exist. They're public benefactors, right? This is why I don't like centralized package management. This is also such a good point. I think if anything, one of the biggest takeaways here is that we have become such a centralized place, and there is so much danger in being centralized. Think about all the things that could happen, right? Decentralized sucks too. Yeah, I agree. Decentralized sucks. Decentralized is not fun. Communism could happen. But it's just like, what do you do? I don't see how, because the problem with centralization is that there's an authority over the centralization. If the authority decides they don't like you, which everyone's like, oh, that just never happens. We're literally reading about it happening right now. Centralization, the problem with centralization is when one person doesn't like another person. And then all of a sudden, we're here. What about you make your own stuff? It's so hard. 1 point of failure, or if you prefer, 1 point of control. Yeah, there you go. We need to make Devin president? Absolutely. Devin might be the only thing that moves slower than the U.S. government. Decentralization means you can get 100%. You can actually get 100% of the uptime. Yeah, but that's a different type of decentralization we're talking about. We're not talking about like a distributed network of uploading things. We're not talking about like some sort of version of a Tor network or LimeWire style stuff. We're talking about centralization as in one person owns the package management, or B, a bunch of individuals own the package management. Really what this comes down to, this is kind of like a Odin approach. So for those that aren't kind of experienced with other languages, there's a language called Odin, and their big recommendation is that you don't use a package management. You vendor in your libraries. You bring in the version of the library you want, you own it, and it's now a part of your repository. What's so bad about decentralization? The problem with decentralization is that it's hard for everybody to do it. C-style. Yeah, it's C-style. Because then there is no centralization. The problem with decentralization is, how do you build everything for your CI and everything? Well, what it means is that you have to bring in the things you rely on into your project. It makes upgrading harder. It makes, there's just like a whole bunch of problems, because inevitably someone's going to edit some of those resources. You're going to have these like slight diverging from the original source. There's a lot of things that kind of come on. You saying that NPM has become so important the justice system needs to step in it for the public good? That's kind of weird. Yeah, definitely didn't say that. Throw fence. You're making weird arguments today. I don't think any of this is what I just said. I said that it's weird, and what would happen if they just decided. What happened if today NPM just decided from here? I literally said that. No, I literally said what would happen if NPM decided to start turning on and off. What would be the system? I never even once said the word justice system. I never even said the term justice system for them to step in. What would the outcome be? I don't know. Like, I think what would end up happening, as I said earlier, trust would be eroded and somebody else would have to step in. This is why JSR is so interesting. Anyways, throw away, again, you're making weird claims. I don't think at any point I said the justice system has to step in, the government needs to step in and own something. I simply said that if someone did this, the biggest thing you erode is trust. And then right after that, Josh Mander said, trust, bingo, that's the thing. Because if I go like this, user Josh Manders. What would the case be? That's literally what I said. I asked the chat, what do you think? You're citing the question I asked following up. What would happen if that happened? What is the possibility? I don't even know. Would there be any legal recourse? I don't think there's any legal recourse. I'm on your team. I don't think you can just simply sue if someone turns it off. But it'd be a whole trust thing. That's right afterwards I said trust. And Josh said, bingo, trust. Okay? It'd be a trust issue, and then NPM can't operate the way they would be able to operate. NPM is a monopoly. It's not a monopoly because there is JSR now. I think at the end of this, whatever it is, I think Matt will end up suffering probably some pretty big loss from all this. I think that he's acted like a complete dummy in all of this. If anything, I don't see how Matt will ever be able to work anywhere ever again, unless if people continue to prop him up, like Throwfence or whatever your name is. You seem to like you want to prop up these actions like they're somehow good actions. I think that he has acted horribly in all of this. I think that everything he's done has been absolutely unhinged behavior. I don't see how he ever gets to be able to be in a position of power. I think that it's bad, and I'm happy that the judge ruled this way to give them a chance to actually go through all this. It's a douchebag behavior. I think it's douchebag behavior. Yeah. I think it's absolutely out of control. And so, anywho, hey, WordPress. I'm glad I stopped reading about you, and this is crazy that I'm reading about you and seeing all this insane behavior still. It's still happening. In fact, it just looks like it's only gotten worse. Okay, well, good luck, Matt. Out of all people to ruin their name so bad, WordPress and Matt Mullenweg, he somehow had a great reputation for so long. It's crazy. I still remember, even 10 years ago, people would talk about the glories of remote and why WordPress was a shining model of how remote work worked. I remember all these things. Like, there's so much of it that just existed. It's just like, how do you lose that much so fast? It's crazy to watch someone's reputation go from so positive to so negative so fast. It is just an absolutely wild thing to watch. Anyways, the name is the Primeagen.